Line extension plan has been stalled for a few years due to the BNSF Railway and Met Council not agreeing on a key issue. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us what the holdup is and if the two sides are any closer to working things out.
The Blue Line extension would go from downtown Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park and pass through Golden Valley, Robbinsdale, and Crystal.
The amount of transit-oriented development that comes to these light rail stations is amazing.
The Met Council plans call for 11 stops and 13 more miles of track. But to make that happen, the Blue Line would have to share part of the rails. Under the current plan, these railroad tracks right here would move over a few feet, and then new light rail tracks would run parallel. But a spokesperson for BNSF says they're not interested in that happening. This is a statement we received from BNSF spokesperson Amy Macbeth. She says the railroad is not proceeding with any discussion of passenger rail on their property in the corridor. However, Met Council officials are hoping to get things moving.
We're waiting on re-engaging with BNSF to see what happens. If we're not at the point where we're looking at alternatives, we're not at the point of saying that this project is over.
Officials in Brooklyn Park say they are very committed to reaching a resolution with the railroad. Meanwhile, the light rail holdup is hindering other projects in the city.
We've delayed it, the reconstruction of West Broadway. We've been sort of putting in some of our development plans up on hold in certain parts of especially the Oak Grove area.
Cities like Robbinsdale are still hopeful the railroad would come to the table. But in the meantime, they are left at the mercy of BNSF.
The fact that they won't even talk about it is, everything has a price, and they won't even give us what that price is so we can make an informed decision on how to proceed.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
A Brooklyn Park man has pleaded guilty to fleeing police in a vehicle that resulted in the death of another motorist. According to the criminal complaint, Minneapolis police responded to a call of a possible drug deal on May 1st. 27-year-old Trevon McMorris sped away from the scene and crashed into another car. The driver of that car, a husband and father of 4 children, later died. A search inside McMorris's car turned up marijuana, several bags of suspected cocaine, and a loaded gun. Should homeowners in Brooklyn Park be allowed to raise chickens and pot-bellied pigs on their property? The Brooklyn Park City Council says no. The city had considered whether to allow homeowners to keep up to 4 chickens in their backyard, as well as 1 pot-bellied pig. Other neighboring cities like Crystal and Brooklyn Center allow chickens. And according to Brooklyn Park officials, the city receives multiple requests each year to keep chickens. But a host of concerns were brought up, including salmonella outbreak concerns and possible exposure to children. The vote brought varied opinions.
I've talked to other cities as well that have allowed that in their city, and they have not had the amount of issues that I think the overall community thought that they would.
We've been thinking about this thing for 2 years. My push right now, well, I'm on the council, I've got 2 years left, is to get firefighters. That's what we need. We don't need chickens, we don't need pigs, we need firefighters.
When we talk about this isn't going to cost us money, I don't believe that, because if we're truly going to enforce all of the rules that are in here, it's going to cost us a lot.
We can't enforce the ones that are out there already violating the code. So now we're going to change the code so that we don't have to worry about the ones violating it.
Mayor Jeff Lundy pointed out it's legal to keep chickens in Los Angeles, where he grew up. He says he gets the most complaints about dogs and bonfires. The proposed ordinance change, however, failed on a 5-2 vote. An increasing number of lost pets in the area are being returned to the wrong shelter, making it harder for owners to find them. Reporter Pafua Yang explains the steps you should take if you find a wandering pet.
It's proof that we shouldn't underestimate these clever escape artists.
Usually 500, a little more, are dogs, and then the remainder 300 plus are cats.
Hundreds of lost pets a year are dropped off here at Pets Under Police Security, or PUPS.
Any animals coming into us have to come through the police department. We cannot take in any animals directly from the public.
PUPS is the contracted impound for 7 cities. Most dogs are usually returned to their rightful owner, but only 15 to 20% of cats are reclaimed. If pets aren't reclaimed in 5 business days, Bozer says they'll go to one of the approved rescue facilities where they can be adopted.
We check online, missing pet sites, see if anybody's posted them missing. We have a Facebook page that we post all of our incoming strays on. We scan for microchips. If they've, of course, got any tags on their collar, we will attempt to contact those numbers.
If you find a lost pet in one of the 7 cities, Bozer says call 911. The problem? Not everyone will. Instead, they'll bring pets to the Animal Humane Society.
It extends the process and takes longer for the pet to be able to get back home with their owner.
And in some cases, pets could be transferred way outside of the city to another humane society.
They're not looking in cities outside of their area where their pet may have been taken.
Hoping the message will spread, Bozer thinks these furry animals are ready to go home.
We'd love to send pets back home. If we could, find the owners for every stray pet that comes in here, that would be the ideal goal.
In Maple Grove, Pafu Yang, CCX News.
Pups recommends putting an ID tag on your pets or inserting a microchip. An organization dedicated to helping homeless youth will receive a nice gift this week thanks to the Golden Valley Rotary Club. Tuesday afternoon, members of the Golden Valley Rotary gathered to assemble packs filled with clothing items. Each of these Got You Covered packs contains underwear, pajamas, and socks. Sales of Culver's frozen custard during June's Golden Valley Pride Festival helped fund this initiative. And all told, the Rotary Club assembled 48 packs, which will go to the Bridge for Youth, an emergency shelter program based in Minneapolis.
Some of these kids are going to be staying at Bridge for Youth, and some of these kids are transient. They're going to stop in and they're going to be moving along. And so having nice warm socks in the winter and having some clean clothes is going to help those kids that stay and those kids that just kind of are moving through.
Over there to get them in.
It was a playoff-like atmosphere when rivals Breck and Blake battled in boys soccer last week. As Jay Wilcox reports, it's part of an impressive body of work for Breck this fall.
Wide left.
While coaches like to preach that all games are equal, Breck's 4-2 win over arch rival and then #1 Blake last week was something special for the Mustangs.
Yes, they did.
It was great. The adrenaline was pumping. It was a huge game for us. They're always a tough team to play against, and I'm just glad we could come out on top that time. Yeah. That's the game you look forward to every year, and it was a lot of fun. We got to get the win, and it was just a great night.
Our guys were really up for that game. They were really looking forward to it. The conference title was on the line. We also wanted to make a statement to a team that had done it all last year. They won state. So
all in all, it's been a great season for Breck. They entered the week with a 10-2 record, and the 2 losses are to the team currently ranked #1 in AA, Edina, and #1 in Class A, Holy Angels.
We definitely learned some things, and we watched a fair amount of video after those games because if you don't learn something from those, you're passing up on an opportunity. And we definitely found some things that I think we've gone a ways toward correcting.
We lost our entire back line and goalie from last year. Gunner, new goalie, has stepped in and done really well, and so have the guys who have been asked to step in as well. So I'm proud of what we've done so far.
No doubt Breck's very good, but the path to state is not easy. 4 of the top 7 teams in this week's Class A poll are in Section 5.
We know that when section comes, it's 1 game elimination, and we got to bring our A game and work hard and prepare for that. So it's just going to be exciting to play those teams. It's always fun. The better teams are always more fun to play against. If we want to make it to state, we know we really have to earn it, and that's how it's been in years past and this year as well. So Blake, Totino Grace, De La Salle, all good teams.
The playoffs are rapidly approaching, and Breck's dialed in. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Breck is #2 in the new Class A rankings. They host 3rd-ranked Waconia Thursday and also play #6 Orono next week. While Breck has reached double digits in victories, 2 local girls teams were each aiming for their first win of the season when Park Center hosted Armstrong. First half, Jessica Hanley dribbles through the Park Center defense, zips the shot off the post and in for a Falcons goal. Later in the first half, Olivia Barfnecht on the corner kick, and Hanley redirects it in for a 3-0 Armstrong lead. Another nice run here for the Falcons. Sophomore Sarah Osborne chips the shot over the Park Center goalkeeper and in. Second half, Maddie Orsted threads a nice pass to Morgan Keller. She nets her second goal of the game as the Falcons continue to roll. Hanley scores 5 goals in the match as Armstrong wins 10-1. Falcons' first win of the season. Armstrong swimmer Sierra Smith should contend for state titles in her events later this season. Jason Malillo profiles Smith on this week's Sports Jam show. Here's part of what you'll see.
Sierra is a freestyle sprinter now, but as a young swimmer, she tried every event.
I went from being a breaststroker to an IMer to a flyer, and they would all laugh at me for this now because they know that I'm far from that, but it was just kind of trying everything out and kind of ended up being a sprinter now.
Outside the high school season, Sierra swims club, and she's in the pool pretty much year-round. Sierra's long arms and legs give her a physical advantage, but she's also a very hard worker and very coachable.
Probably the best thing about it is that it's a back and forth. It's a collaboration between coach and athlete. She likes to question things, and then I like to fill around on why I'm doing things.
You can watch the rest of the Sierra Smith story and all the week's top prep highlights on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday on CCX1.